Parents of psychopathic kids, what was your turning point? Ever since my son Matthew was a kid, he's been a terror to other kids. When he was 4, he was kicked out of preschool because he would corner other kids until they cried. When our daughter Chloe was born, it was a mission to keep Matthew away, and we had to lock her in our bedroom to keep her safe. Later, when Chloe was older and her teeth started falling out, we did the typical tradition of having her place her tooth under her pillow, and she would wake up with a few bucks that were left by the tooth fairy. Except every morning that she woke up and showed us her money, she'd also say her tooth went missing. My husband and I never took her teeth. It was also around that point that Matthew made the little shed in our backyard his private clubhouse, and he didn't want anyone in there. But as parents do, I decided to check what he spent his days in there doing, and I found all of his sister's teeth lying on the table. It sent shivers down my spine. But once we confronted Matthew about it, he completely freaked out and said horrific things to my father and me before locking himself in his room for days. Over the years, we tried to put Matthew in therapy, and he got kicked out of several schools. It wasn't until he was in high school that we realized the gravity of how dangerous he was. One afternoon, this girl came knocking on our front door, and when I answered it, she looked worried. "Hi, you don't know me, but I am Matthew's classmate," she said. She then proceeded to tell me that Matthew had been stalking her every single day, and she didn't know who else to turn to. Nobody was helping her, but she feared for her life. My heart dropped as I felt the fear in her voice, and I thanked her for letting me know while apologizing profusely. I told her that I would speak to him, but deep down, I knew that nothing I said would stop him. So that afternoon, once I spoke to him about the girl coming by, he exploded and started throwing chairs around the kitchen. I had to run to the master bedroom to hide from him. The last thing I heard him yelling was, "You're going to regret this. You know, you and everyone else in the world," before he ran off and locked himself in the shed. I didn't see him come out for the rest of the night, and after my husband came home, he was furious to see that the kitchen window had been broken by Matthew's outburst. "I'm going to speak to him. Maybe he will take it from a man," he said before going over to the shed. But the next thing I heard was a blood-curdling scream from my husband. I ran over to see what happened, but he had fallen over on the floor and was crying. "Don't look," he said, but I ran over. And once I walked in, I saw Matthew's body. He had taken his own life. It was a terrible day, and our entire family had extensive therapy for years afterward. But something I have never admitted out loud to anyone is that I sometimes feel happy for the way things ended, because otherwise, I can't even imagine the number of people he would have made suffer throughout his lifetime.